Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Today we follow up Frank Mullen's story in the Reno Gazette-Journal about problems at the UNR Ag Farm. Randy Thompson has the rundown.
University of Nevada Reno President John Lilley will tell us what's wrong with these articles.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Jim Wadhams, Paul Mosen, and George Harris. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And we welcome to the program the president of the University of Nevada, Dr. John Lilley. Welcome to the program. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, Sam. Happy to be here.
Well, we're essentially talking today about a series of articles that were in the Gazette-Journal recently. And for those of you that haven't read the articles, I encourage you first to go to the rgj.com. But this started essentially last fall. Frank Mullen did a story on the disposal of some sheep out at the main ranch on McCarran, and led to a 6-month investigation into how these research sheep were treated and were essentially put out into the S-Bar S Ranch near Yarrington? No, Gabbs. And then how those animals were treated and whether they stayed research animals versus farm animals. And there's a lot of details in this article, and I encourage people to read up on it a little bit first.
You responded last week with a press release that said that you've got a 2-pronged assessment process to provide for early expert review of the farm operations, including the care and use of animals and associated record keeping. This assessment is being undertaken while the university awaits the final report of its federal regulator, the United States Department of Agriculture, and it goes on. The assessment process is in response to allegations and insinuations leveled at the university's College of Agriculture, Biotechnology, and Natural Resources regarding the treatment of animals and other aspects of farm operations and research projects. I got to ask you the most simple question that came out of my interview with Frank Mullen the other day. I asked him what your response to him had been, and he said that he had never talked to you. And I asked him if he had called, and he said yes. And I said, how many times did you call? And he said, dozens of times. Why would you not return the phone call of somebody that you knew was doing an investigative reporting series and cooperate with them?
Well, I think, Sam, the main issue, the way we handle that news effort, Frank has been very insistent that we provide him with information, and we have public laws that cover that. And so the Freedom of Information Law, he's gotten everything he's asked for. And our media people estimate that they've spent about 2,000 hours responding to him. So for him to suggest that we haven't been forthcoming with information from the university is fine.
You're the president of the university. Your name is essentially on the door. And you've got the leading newspaper in northern Nevada.
The only newspaper, really?
No, I think the Nevada Appeal would argue with you on that. But the bottom line is that he, why did you not personally get involved with him? First of all,
what is the obligation, Sam?
What is the obligation?
Yes.
To get to the bottom of the truth here, to get the answers.
I think that's not at issue here at all. I think our people have been very forthcoming. All of our people have been very forthcoming.
But you're the boss.
Doesn't matter. I have no obligation to talk to any reporter unless there's something that they need to know that I can help them with.
Right off the bat, you're sounding like the head of Exxon when the Exxon Valdez went down.
No, I'm not sounding like the
when
head
they
of Exxon.
said, it wasn't us, the captain was drunk, it's not our fault. I mean, that's crazy. You've got a reporter. It wasn't a 6-month investigation. It was actually a 7-month investigation. This is the second in a major series of articles that appear on the surface to be very damning. And we want you, and we invited you to come on the program, and you came, and I'm thrilled that you're here. And I want to give you every opportunity to point out whatever problems you have with Mr. Mullen's articles.
Well, I would simply say to you that I think the university has been very forthcoming. We have a point of view, obviously, about the facts as we know them. We're in a highly regulated industry. The care of our animals is highly scrutinized. We have people who regularly come. We have multiple investigations going on, and we're very responsive to those investigations. Well, the university has visitors. Sometimes those visitors come with expectations. Sometimes they come with absolutely no warning. So if the United States Department of Agriculture comes and says something to us, we pay very close attention to that. So we're very serious about this whole process. I think there is no way in which he can say that the university has not been forthcoming. We have spent 2,000 hours on these projects. The fact that he's unhappy that I haven't given him a quote, that's a little silly, really.
Well, and in response, you really didn't answer my question, but that's fine. We'll move on.
Well, the crux of this article, and I'm still confused, even though maybe you've spent 2,000 hours answering, the crux was that Dr. Thawley said, the head of the Ag Department said that he did not authorize the stem cell sheep to be turned out to this weed project, and that really is the crux of it. Who gave the authority to turn these research sheep back to farm animals?
Randi, that level of detail, I think for me to sit here and try to refute the allegations that have been made point by point is not very helpful. We have 4 investigations going on right now about all these processes, and when we have the results of those investigations, I can assure you that we will pay total attention to all their recommendations. USDA comes, they make recommendations, we implement those immediately. University, by its very nature, is a research university. It's constantly looking for ways to be better. So any recommendations that we get, and all of the recommendations that have been made or the allegations that have been made are being paid very close attention to. But I'm not going to sit here and point by point trying to refute.
And I understand that. I mean, you're the president of the university. You have a lot more things to deal with than just one college, and this is a detail here. It's just that this one has been so high profile. When did you first know that there were problems at the Agriculture College?
I don't yet know that there are big problems at the Agriculture College.
So when Professor Hussain says that he came and talked to you 2 years ago about that, you dispute that?
I'm not going to get into any comments about Professor Hussain.
All right, but he claims that he talked to you 2 years ago about problems at the Agriculture College.
I'm sure you know, Sam, that I can never comment about personnel issues. I just can't. I just can't.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back. We have lots more with Dr. Lilley, and hopefully we'll get a few answers. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
When you need a new employee, how can you be sure who you're really hiring? A background investigation by Employer Links will uncover criminal records, verify the applicant's education, check their credit history and Social Security verification. An investigation will research professional licenses and driver's licenses and let you know why they're unemployed. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we're talking to the president of the University of Nevada, Dr. John Lilley.
Oh, me again? Yeah. Well, you have assembled a panel of experts in the livestock industry, and yet in looking at that list and being active in this community for several years myself, everybody has a tie to the university, and you're expecting these people to provide you in 2 weeks a report that USDA is taking 6 months to do. What are you asking them to look at, and how can you get there in 2 weeks?
Well, there are multiple investigations going on, Randy, and what they're looking at, we have the USDA investigation, which is going on. We have the Attorney General's investigation. We have the Nevada Department of investigation going on. We have an outside expert coming from UC Davis to look at the biotechnology end of it. And given the allegations that were raised about production agriculture, and that's essentially what most of those were all about, we didn't just let that lie there. We said, let's ask these various agencies to give us people who can look at this and look at it quickly. They're all in the farm business, they're all in the production business. So they met this past Saturday, and they had in front of them all of the allegations that have been made, and they will make their report when they feel like they're ready to make that report. They've been out, visited the facilities, and so whenever their report is ready, we'll make it public. And we chose organizations, but the organizations chose the people, except for Senator Rhodes, who is a rancher, the Farm Bureau, their leadership, the State Department of Agriculture, their leadership, Cattlemen's Association, the wool, all of those we didn't choose the people, we chose the organizations. The people who are representing those organizations have been chosen by those organizations.
And I want to point out in your favor that the professor from the University of California at Davis is very well respected in this field, and so a fine person to have on that panel. Mm-hmm. I want to change the topic slightly and go back to a previous story about the hidden camera that was outside Professor Hussein's lab there. It was a Homeland Security camera that was moved inside, and it was reported that it was moved inside because there was a swastika painted on the wall that was removed from that wall before anybody else saw it except for one professor. I don't know if you're aware, but my sources tell me that, that there was a forensic examination of that wall, and that there were no traces of paint, solvent, or magic marker, leading one to think that perhaps that swastika was never there. How do you respond to that?
I'm unaware of your sources. I'm unaware of your information which you're sharing this morning, Sam. But when we have an investigation which goes forward, if it's a criminal investigation, and this was, we have a process that the regents have approved, so that if our police and safety on campus come to me and say we have an investigation, we have an allegation, we want to put in place a security camera for this very purpose, I must sign off on that. And in the almost 4 years that I've been here, that's only happened 3 times. The Homeland Security cameras are a very different set of cameras. So once again, that's being investigated. We'll have the results of that investigation, and when we do, it'll be made public.
So in 4 years, you've had 3 hidden cameras. Prior to your time here, was this a common practice at UNR? Because I've never heard of this before.
It is not a common practice, and you probably wouldn't have heard it this time.
Okay. Well, it seems like there's a lot of investigations going on into the ag school, and I can't help but go back to what Sam said earlier. For 2 years, this has been going on, these concerns, and yet why is it taking so long now to get these things resolved, to get these things investigated?
Randy, really the point of this is, and one of the ways in which I might criticize that reporter if I were inclined to, is that the article was written as though some of these issues were still current. In the case of cattle, we had an issue, we solved it, we moved forward, they were sold for premium prices. In the case of sheep, we had a problem, we fixed it, and we moved forward. In the case of pigs, we never had a problem. But the articles were written as though these were current problems about which nothing had been done. Okay. Nothing could be farther from the truth.
Okay.
Let me ask you about this. How do you think this situation, and there appears to be another story coming out in the near future about the physics department, how are these things going to affect your evaluation in front of the Board of Regents?
I would never comment on my evaluation or anyone else's, and I never comment about the Board of Regents.
Okay. do the Board of Regents, have they been well informed about these stories at the Ag Forum beyond what has been in the newspapers?
It's my belief that the Regents have been well informed, and so is the Chancellor.
Well, there is a silver lining to some of this story, and that is actually the success that the sheep had in the weed eradication of the tall white top. So, everything else included here, what is the prospect of continuing this kind of research into dealing with tall white top, which is taking over the Truckee Meadows?
Well, it is a major challenge, and white top is something agriculture people are very concerned about. Our College of Agriculture is a statewide organization, and Randy, as you probably know, it reaches out to the entire state.
Oh, yeah.
And we're constantly solving problems through research that we then can apply to production agriculture. So our faculty, I should tell you, and this is one of the things that people probably don't know at this point, is that they're some of the most distinguished faculty of the entire university. They get millions of dollars in competitive funding. Their students do extremely well. The students who come out of that college are accepted at veterinary medicine colleges at a rate twice the national average. The Hertz Gold Medal for the last 5 years has been won from students from the College of Agriculture. So this is an outstanding college. If we have problems, and we do have problems from time to time, we look at those right in the eye and we solve those problems. That's just the way it is. And that's for the entire university. If the reporter next goes to dance and music, we'll look at those issues. We'll solve those problems.
In speaking to several faculty members over the university, they were all complaining about the morale at the university being at its lowest level ever, and that academic freedom they feel is being threatened. How do you respond to those folks?
I have no response to people who believe that. I would say to you that the people in the College of Agriculture believe that we've been very fair with them, we've investigated these issues, and we've been very supportive of them, while making clear that any investigation that takes place, we find issues that need to be solved and settled, we'll take care of it.
And Professor Hussain has a hearing, I believe, on the 17th where he's to be terminated. Is that correct?
I cannot comment about any personnel issue.
Okay. I really appreciate you coming in. I would welcome you to come back, and hopefully you can answer in more detail some of these questions, but we do appreciate you taking the time to come in.
Thank you, Sam.
We'll be right back
Randy.
on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
If it's fun, it's here at the Pepper Mill, the $100,000 video-themed SWAT celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes. $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Peppermills video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Peppermill. Where are you winning?
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And oh man, stand by for this Power Pundit panel today. It's going to be a wild one. George Harris is here, the publisher of Liberty Watch. We'll get to that in just a moment. Jim Wadhams is here as a lobbyist with Jones Vargas. And we welcome him back to the program. And Paul Mosen, a political activist and healthcare consultant. First of all, the big news of the day for George Harris is a brand new magazine, glossy, high quality, called Liberty Watch. Why did you decide to put out this magazine?
Well, we were on the net for 5 years, and it was a natural thing to do. Cost a lot of money. We think we've done a good job. It'll be hitting the stands. It'll be going into people's mailbox, and we're really proud with the product we put out.
Okay, and at the end of the program, we'll give you a place where you can, if you want to get hold of a copy of the magazine, you can.
Oh, great.
It's a conservative thought, and I think you'll find it very interesting, and we're one of your initial proud sponsors. Happy
Yes,
to be
thank
here.
you.
All right, let's start out with the property tax bill as it came out. What do you think, George?
Well, is it unconstitutional? I'm no lawyer, but you don't have to be a lawyer to see that it's very unconstitutional. But with that said, who's going to have the intestinal fortitude to file a lawsuit against it? If you file a lawsuit against it, you take away relief, and you put yourself at risk for a 30% tax increase.
Jim, is he right?
It's frustrating.
I think he's right in regard to the fact that it's probably unconstitutional in the long run, but the legislators were very careful to set this up as what they called a short-term solution, and I think that buys maybe a little leeway on an immediate lawsuit. I think there will be one. I mean, Nevada has a history of challenging things, so somebody in the state will probably take that up to the Supreme Court.
Love to fight. They love to fight.
Well, the rumor is that the Nevada Taxpayers Association is going to try to amend our Constitution to take out fair and equal. So it'll be interesting to see how that attempt is made.
There's not a taxpayer that's going to do that. So good luck to them.
Yeah,
Liberty Watch will be all over that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's in the Constitution. Everyone should be treated fair and equally.
Yeah.
Taxes should be fair and equal. This is clearly unconstitutional. I don't know what they're thinking down there. It sounds like politics.
Well, there's 700 bills that have to be heard in the next 2 weeks. And a biggie that is coming up is the bank bill, essentially to reduce the bank's payroll tax down to making it equitable across the board. How do you guys think the chances are of that?
Well, I think that was bad policy in the first place. I think we should be treating everybody fair and equal. I don't think one group should be paying more than the other. I don't think gaming should be paying any more than anybody else. I think it needs to be fair and equal.
This is an echo of a conversation from 2 weeks ago.
In the inaugural issue, we cover the property tax problem. The larger problem with property tax is that the federal government owns a majority of the property, and there's only 4,4,200 acres released a year, and that's what's causing the supply and demand. That's what's causing these prices to go uncontrollably. But but the larger thing, in our opinion, is that we need a TABOR, a Taxpayer Bill of Rights, a cap on spending. Because the other problem, the other component to this problem is they've got a $1.1 billion surplus. And they're still talking about raising taxes and spending more money.
That's this year only, though. And
but
I kind of supported. There was a tax proposal that came out on this program. I think I heard about it, where you allowed the county assessor to set the rate. That's not putting a cap. The county assessor from each county sets the rate, and that really is his job. I thought that was a rather intelligent proposal. Of course, that disappeared. We never heard about that.
Well, you're wrong on that, though. It's the legislature's job to set the rate, not the assessors. It's by Constitution.
It's the assessor's job to set the rate.
No, it's the legislature's job is to set the ratio rates and any rates, and it's the assessor's job to implement those rates.
Okay, excuse me, hang on. Let Jim get in here, please.
Actually, they're both wrong on that. But
Thank you. That was my point.
Exactly.
I wanted to answer the first question you raised, and I may have been on this program a year and a half ago on the bank tax. that was something that was thrown into the bill literally in the last hours of the special session on the tax. And there was no justification in any hearing in the record for a super payroll tax on any particular industry. So while I'm not directly involved in the change of that, there is no basis for taxing one employer, particularly one that has relatively high wages, a higher rate of tax. I suspect that and the live entertainment tax will probably be repealed.
You've got some news coming out of Senator Reid's office.
Yeah, Anita Sullivan has left, and she's been a longtime staffer with Senator Reid, and we're a lot of us are in awe of her leaving. Well, I'm in awe of her to begin with, but have you guys heard, Jim, especially, have you heard anything about Anita leaving?
I have not. I'm surprised. That's,
Was there any reason that you understood that she was leaving?
Well, my personal opinion is that she's a very reasonable and moderate staffer, and with Senator Reid's new position being a little more on the liberal side and kind of attacking President Bush, it seems to me that maybe there was some falling out there between the two of them. I'm not quite sure, but I wish Anita the best. She's a wonderful lady.
Always interesting when the Senate Majority Leader's staffer leaves.
Yes.
You'd think that would be an upward move and that everyone would want to stay around.
Well, but speaking of the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Majority Leader has something none of us at this table have. He has the ability to change policy on the government, on the federal government releasing property in the state of Nevada.
The minority leader.
The minority.
He's not the majority yet.
Well, he acts like he's a majority leader.
From your mouth to God's ears.
No, please.
And he believed me.
No. But he certainly could influence the release of more federal property in the state of Nevada. And until that takes place, until a tabor's put in place and release of more federal land, our property tax problem's not going to go away.
When I get back from vacation, as I told you yesterday, I'm going to get a reporter from Colorado to talk about how Tabor has been working there, and we'll get the truth out of this thing. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
This is one of Sierra Power's main generating plants. It's right next door to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. These plants provide all the clean, reliable power that businesses need. TRI has 3 independent power generation facilities on site. For sensitive manufacturing companies and high-tech firms, this benefit is invaluable. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
If you want to grab a copy of Liberty Watch, go to GOPGeorge at Cox.net. We'll put that on the website for you.
And tomorrow we have Las Vegas Review journalist John L. Smith and Mike Alonzo talking about neighborhood gaming.
We'll see you then.